Hey y'all, how you doing? I hope you enjoyed Labor Day yesterday. Um, I just spent Labor Day like regular, but I did check the news. I saw the hundreds of thousands of people outside throughout the entirety of America protesting the Trump administration and protesting the billionaires. Honestly, I feel like the real Americans are the ones protesting and fighting for better rights, not this fake nonsense that Trump is pushing. Honestly, to anyone who did protesting during Labor Day, I fought until I decided not really. I would have so desperately wanted to join those protests because I have a lot of things to say that I've been talking to, my parents and whatever, and friends. But anyway, anyone who joined the Labor Day protests, I honestly applaud you. You took your rights, you used it well, and you actually did something valuable to the people. And I honestly think that's very lovely. That's very good. Because you see, if you don't know, America was founded with freedom and rules. And the Trump administration is so desperately trying to remove these rules and freedoms and turn it into Nazi Germany. This is why stuff like this is important to get. It's also why at some point I'm hoping to get Robert Reich's book so that I can have it for myself and read it and show it to people because I feel like it's more important to expose people to the better sides and to show that there is hope rather than just crying sitting in your room all alone and waiting for the end times. Like, that's not really a good way to handle it. I think the best way is to keep protesting, keep fighting back against Trump's narrative. The 2020 election was never rigged. It was always gonna be destined that Trump would eventually fail. Like, it's not even a secret. Trump is gonna fail eventually. He will eventually lose. But it's far too early, but it is not too late yet. There is a chance for anyone who is going to join in the 2026 midterms. I heavily recommend that you all sign in some Democrats into the 2026 midterms so that us, the people, we the people, can finally get a fighting chance against authoritarianism, surveillance, and a multitude of other things. But even then, I want to talk about all the things that's been going on. Of course, you've seen the images that Trump's hand looks a little bruised, how Trump's legs are supposedly swollen. At that point, that's not even a secret, that's just a legit statement. It's no secret Trump's hand is looking pretty bad, and they so childishly cover it up with makeup. Like, this is freaking kindergarten. This is stuff that 5-year-olds do, and this is an over 80-year-old president doing stuff that a 5-year-old does. Reminder, 5-year-olds don't have much mental capacity. They're still developing as people, and they need to be taught the right things. I've also seen how Trump and the MAGA administration is trying to put PragerU rather than PBS Kids. Honestly, don't like PragerU, and I honestly hope that it gets defunded immediately by the next administration because PragerU has brought nothing other than pushing intense right wing propaganda. But here's the thing: as a person who believes that as a person who believes stuff like free healthcare for all and other things, I think it's important to understand that you need to listen both sides of the story. Because without it, you're stuck in an echo chamber. But even then, now, now I feel like it's important to say that the stuff that Bernie Sanders and other people that are talking about, free healthcare for all, $15 minimum wage, better housing prices for the young people. The Trump administration is claiming that all of this is radical socialist communist movement. If you want to call them radical, sure, go ahead, call them radical. I don't care because what Bernie Sanders and others are saying is the truth. America needs to follow the footsteps of other developed nations. Why? Because without it, America simply can't function. And listen to some of the Chinese users, some of the people from China who have been trying to make MAGA voters wake up and get a reality check. Some MAGA voters are so deluded into attacking these Chinese people using racist Chinese terms and attacking them because MAGA voters simply don't want to accept reality. They want to accept this Lala Loopsy land that they came up with, that Trump, that, that the 2020 election was rigged, that January 6th never happened. Well, here's the thing. Face the reality. January 6th happened. The government was almost taken in a French Revolution style with a literal gallows pole hanging session made outside of the White House. Is this the America we want? Is this the America we want where we have a king and the French Revolution repeats? Because, there's this common history quote I like to keep pertaining. Those who don't learn history are doomed to end up repeating it. I know I changed the quote slightly, but it still brings the same message because the people like Trump who refuse to accept that the past was the past and attempt to learn and fix in the future are trying to repeat the past, thinking that it just comes with a different outcome. No, history has shown us how those outcomes end up leading to the same problems and situations. This is my final week of summer vacation, and throughout the whole summer, I've been very radicalized in becoming more open about how our world works. I don't know if I should end up running in politics, but if I do, it might be one of the most interesting points I can have for my life because I can maybe help the people. Because to learn how to care for people is learning what empathy is. Trump and other billionaires seem to have no empathy. They only care about themselves. They don't care for other people. They just care about money, wealth, buying the most expensive things. What really comes down for me, what I believe is a simple life is a hobby, family, a decent job, and at least a small bit. Because let's face it, we all end up indulging in a small bit of money. That doesn't mean that a small bit hurts you. It's when you overreach and you keep getting more and more and more that it becomes an addiction. It becomes like drugs. You end up getting on like a binge where your brain becomes wired to these things. And most billionaires don't seem to realize it, but most billionaires have this wired addiction to money and power. But even then, I feel like most people that will end up seeing this video of mine will probably just write it off as some, ridiculous shit post that makes no sense, or write it off as just some dumbass. The thing is, I'm not a dumbass. I put my research into things, and I don't try to engage in violence anymore. And I say not anymore because I was once an idiot who tried to put violence into things. And I realized most things do not require violence. There are times where you have to seriously negotiate with the person, think about who you're dealing with, and think what is the best course of action without causing violence. Violence can happen, but not at first. It is not the first decision people do, but it's the first decision people wrongly choose because they think that's just the quickest way to solve a problem or the quickest way to fix a problem. And fixing the problem is more difficult than just slapping a tariff and thinking, job well done. That's the equivalent of putting a bandage on the roof and thinking that it fixes the leak problems. It doesn't. It just causes the leak problems to still exist, and you basically accomplish only 1% of the problem, and you have like the other 99% you didn't finish. And also, for people, especially MAGA voters that say, oh, if you hate if you hate what's going on in America and you care about countries like Mexico, why don't you just move to places like Mexico? Well, here's the thing. I'm Hispanic, but I'm also American, and I care about the homes and the family and the friends I've made. The family I have, I, I've been enlightened to know that my family wants the best for me. They don't try to stop me, but they do put the barriers. That's the thing. Life requires restrictions to at least find gratitude and success. To find gratitude and success, you need to learn how to lose. That's being a good sport. Because being a good sport requires you learn how to lose. You need to know how to lose and know how to be a good sport about it. Trump is the equivalent of a sore loser. Trump refuses to learn how to lose. And because of that, he doesn't know how to be a good sport. Instead, Trump resorts to acting like a school bully, bullying other people and whining to get his way. And because of that, it seems that Congress and other spots are sort of bending their knees to Trump. This is like the whole gentle parenting thing, except that the parents are the branches of the US government and Trump is the entitled spoiled child getting whatever he wants by whining and crying. And instead of whining and crying, he just makes himself look like an ass every time he shows up on public television. But even then, you need to know how to put restrictions. Trump, unfortunately, has no restrictions, which is depressing to think about that we voted this guy in a second time. Because I know a lot of people like to point that during Trump's first term, America wasn't that bad, but trust me, it was far worse than anyone could imagine. Because caused the whole Trump caused the whole immigration problem and caused the whole racist thing to go completely off the wall. Because of that, Trump's first term proved that putting a president that aligns with complete racists was not such a good idea. And it's baffling people voted him in the first time. It's even more baffling people put them in the second time. I had these three guys at my school of Old Bridge, and they kept hardlining Trump. They kept dick sucking Trump every moment they can get. I tried to explain to them, and they absolutely refused to accept the reality that Trump is an absolute nobody who doesn't understand what he's doing. Because I feel like it's obvious to anyone that Trump was just a businessman. Trump as a president doesn't work because he is a failed businessman. Trump has many failed businesses, and I feel like you can search that up with a simple Google search if you try it. You try hard enough. Yes, I know. Doing a Google search is apparently the hardest fucking task in the world. No, it is not. You're just lazy and you refuse to do any research because you refuse to lift the damn fucking finger every 5 seconds without complaining. But seriously. Anyways, either way, when I get back home from vacation here in Florida, my relative's house, my stepdad has got a gym idea. You're going to be seeing many changes go on in my life. I'm going to improve, I'm going to change, and I'm going to be way more outspoken throughout the rest of this year and the entirety of next year. So, if anything, thank you all for watching. If you're hoping to see gaming content like FNF, then it's going to be on hold. I'm currently doing stuff. Anyway, thank you all for watching. If you want to see what I do on my YouTube channel in the future, go ahead, subscribe, or just check it very briefly. I'm more active on my YouTube community posts, just reposting a number of things that I just enjoy, or a number of things I find intriguing, or on the usual occasion posting something that's political based to keep informing the people, because it's important we have free information, but it's also important we have readable, accessible information that is important and useful, because information and the truth is far more valuable than lies and propaganda, because lies and propaganda only work by informing the unintelligible. However, as one other quote likes to say, time eventually reveals all, and the truth eventually comes out. It's no secret, the truth has been out for a long while about Trump and some of his other dastardly things, but MAGA refuses to accept the truth. I mean, just look at Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom was able to start making the Fox News reporters look absolutely panicking, showing that Fox News refuses to accept and act like reasonable adults. Instead, they're stuttering and being scared like little children. I don't even know how these adults exist and they act like actual children. I don't get it. Whatever. Peace. If you find this, grab it. It's important. And it's important we keep this. And also get Robert Reich's new book coming up short. It's a very good book, and I recommend you go check it. I recommend you just go check Robert Reich. I've just been watching his content for like the past couple months, and very intrigued, very informed. Honestly, see you.